Looking for the perfect deck to smash your opponent's face? I've got a good one for you. Hello there, my name is Donald, aka the Scruffy Looking Gamer, and today I have a deck tech for you that is a little off the beaten track of a normal deck. Instead of turning our characters sideways to quest to win, we're looking to win to gain lore in a little bit of a different manner. I'm calling this deck Fight Club, and this deck cares all about challenging. All we want to do is challenge our opponent's characters to win. So what we're going to do with that is put in a bunch of characters that are very favorable to challenges. We got two brand new characters in what's this set called? Arcasia's Island, that I think really turned this deck on and made it a pretty viable deck. The first one, and like the key to this deck, is Mushu. So Mushu says whenever your character's challenged, they're going to gain resist +2, which is great because that keeps them alive longer. But the real thing here is during your turn, whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore. So without having to quest, we're just going to gain lore by challenging our opponent's characters. We have this effect on other characters too. So Mushu will give it to anybody. We have our Robin Hood that we've been playing for many sets now. He does the same thing whenever he banishes another character in a challenge. You're going to gain 2 lore. That does stack with Mushu. So if Robin Hood is the one to defeat something in a challenge, then you're going to get both of these triggers here. So you're gaining 4 lore off that. And to top that all off, let's say your opponent had a 5 willpower character and you attack it with Super Goof. And Super Goof says whenever this character challenges another character, gain 2 lore. Now note here, he does not say you have to defeat them in the challenge. You just have to challenge to gain that 2 lore. So we challenge our first challenge of the turn here with Goof, gain 2 lore because of Goof's trigger. He challenged. Gain 2 more lore because of, no, not because of Mushu. Hold on to that. So then we challenge 1, Super Goof. Challenge 2, we go in with Robin Hood. Now, this is going to trigger another character here. This Fazu says whenever one of your characters challenges another character, if it's the second challenge this turn, gain 3 lore. So we gain 2 lore with Super Goof for challenging. We're now going to do our second challenge. That's going to gain us 3 lore with Fazu. We're up to 5. Robin Hood is going to banish that character because he's got enough power now to finish off that character. So we're going to gain 2 more lore from Robin Hood's ability, up to 7. We're getting 2 more lore from Mushu because it also banished the character, up to 9. Let's also say you had a Shere Khan in play as well. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, gain 1 lore. So we would have gained 1 from Super Goof. We would have gained 1 from Robin Hood. That puts us at 11. We just gained 11 lore for challenging 1 character in 1 turn. That's all we had to do. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, that's the hope. That's the hope, is that we can set this combo up with all of these pieces. That's kind of Magic Christmas Land. That's where we want to be. That's what the deck can do. Is that always going to be viable? No, not necessarily. But I think this deck does some really strong stuff with that kind of theme in mind. If you can get 1, 2, 3 of these pieces out, you might not gain 11 every turn, but you're going to do some damage. Against aggro decks, destroys. Like, they have to turn their characters sideways to win. They got nothing else going on. So if they don't turn their characters sideways because they're afraid you're going to challenge them, they just don't win. So then you just sit there and turn your character sideways and you win. Eventually they're like, oh, I got to take something out. They got to turn their character sideways to do that. So, they're just not going to be able to just sit there. You're just going to win out of battle of attrition. Where this really kind of comes into a halt, though, is against the control decks. The control decks don't necessarily have to to quest with anything for quite some time. They can sit there, control the board, and then late game, once you've exhausted all your resources, then they can win. So against the control deck, we have to kind of take a little bit of a different route. We want to try and um, become the aggro deck at that point. We're going to have to quest with our characters, but I think this is where a card like Flynn Rider really comes in. So at the start of your turn, if you have a character in play with more strength than each opposing character, you're going to gain 3 lore. That's going to tick up quick because they're not going to be putting a bunch of characters on the board. Your characters have pretty high power to them already, so you're going to naturally just be gaining that 3 lore most of the time. So I think a card like Flynn Rider really kind of gives us the edge against the control deck matchup. And another new card from this set, other than Mushu, the Mulan, if we can get one of their characters exerted for whatever reason, if they use them to sing a song or whatever, they're eventually going to have to exert a character. If we have Mulan in play, she says whenever she challenges another character, all your other characters gain, they can challenge ready characters this turn. So that's a very strong ability. That means they don't even have to have exerted their characters, and now you can just start challenging them. So we really kind of want to threaten the win with our Flynn Rider here, just gaining 3 lore every turn until they have to answer. They have to do something. They have to turn a character sideways. And then Mulan can just make it to where everything else that they didn't exert, we can just take out. And they're probably not going to do that if Mulan's already on the board, but that's kind of the nice thing. You have, we have this Rush Mulan, this 4-cost Rush Mulan in the deck, and then you can always shift for 5 into this Mulan, so they might not know it's coming. If you have enough ink on the board, and you can do this, that's kind of why this Vitalisphere is in here. If we have this Vitalisphere sitting around, we can play this Mulan for 7, play her for a full cost, and then use the Vitalisphere ability to give her rush so that we can do what we need to do on that turn. You kind of have to not show all your cards against the control deck. That's where this matchup's gonna be rough. But against any other, against aggro, against the mid-range deck, against the combo deck, they're just gonna have characters exerted all the time, and you're just gonna be able to go in there and gain all this lore just by taking out their characters, which is something you kind of want to do anyway. So this is the deck. It's pretty straightforward. Got the 4 Robin Hood 1-drops in here just as a shift target for this Robin Hood. So the Queen of Hearts, same deal. She's a good 2-drop to take stuff out, but then also she's also a good shift target for this other Queen of Hearts. This Queen of Hearts is kind of really our only draw engine in the deck. It's where this deck does suffer a little bit as withdrawals, but so if you have this queen out there, whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you can draw a card. That's huge. That's going to draw a lot of cards. And then something I like, I really like this Scar. I think this Scar has been underrated for such a long time, but in this deck, he can do nasty things just by having a Mushu out. This Scar comes down, he has Rush. This Mushu is going to give him resist +2. So he challenges something, banishes it. His ability says he can ready again. And he had that resist +2, so likely he didn't die from that challenge. Challenge something again, banishes it. Resist +2, still holding strong, keeping it alive. Scar can be like a one-man wrecking machine, and if you have Mushu out, you're getting 2 lore every time you do that, and triggering Scar's ability to untap him and do it again. Scar's great. Only 2 of him in the deck. He's a 7-cost, and he's uninkable. Not what we want to be drawing all the time, so I think 2's the right number there for him. But I think Scar's a real good card in this deck. Maui is just kind of a staple at this point. He's just great. I don't know what else to say about Maui. He's great. But yeah, that's the Calhoun. Calhoun's another one of those really powerhouse cards that, once again, says whenever they banish a character in a challenge, you're going to gain 2 lore. It's just, and resist +1 tacked on. Calhoun's a great card. Just everything in here synergizes with that being able to challenge our characters. I think the only other thing we didn't talk about here is the Helga. The Helga is there just as you need something to to take care of those evasives. So Helga really lets you on turn 2 if they've got a Diablo in play or something to take care of the evasives. She can. There's not very many evasives that are going to have more than 3 willpower that she can't handle. So she pretty much takes care of all of that. And then if you need to go bigger, then this Mulan actually is evasive as well, which is really nice. But I think Helga will take care of most things evasive that we're going to see being played right now. So yeah, that's the deck. It's popping up right now at $250. I mean, that's probably pretty accurate. These Calhouns sitting at like $10 to $12 a piece, they're not going anywhere. That's a pretty set price for a while. Maui actually at $8 is pretty good. Maui was setting 10 plus for a long time, so now might be a good time to pick up Mauis if you don't have Mauis. The Robin Hood's sitting at $25. You might think, oh man, $25, that's a lot. This card was $50 for a long time, a very long time. So $25 is a pretty good steal on that card right now, I think. It's just such a strong card. So $250. I don't think that's too bad for this deck. You probably have a lot of the cheaper cards anyway, so picking up some of those stables like Robin Hood and Calhoun and Maui might be all you need to do, and then you can throw this deck together. I think it's a pretty fun deck. It's something that I'm going to probably try out at my locals a week or two and see how it goes. But that's all for this one. If you like the video, please give it a like, give me a follow, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you want to see. If you have any decks that you want me to work on for you and do a video on, I'll be glad to do that. So until next time.